So, since this video is for a 24-hour trip, I'm presenting it in steps so you can see exactly how I did what and when, subtracting the travel time from Ontario and back, but both are included in the video anyways, so I hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching. So we have step number 1, which is flying out of Toronto and then landing in Halifax. Step number 2 is going to be me highly recommending you to get a rental car to make your trip really worthwhile. I did book online in advance, which I also highly recommend you do. Step number 3. I arrived in the evening so I would have a complete 24 hours the next day, so I went and checked into my hotel, which I had such a great view of the Halifax Harbour. And the staff were also wonderful to me and gave me a free cake slice since I did mention I was there for my birthday. And the step we've all been waiting for is step number 4, which is to explore. I did wake up at 5:30 a.m. and hit the road for 6 a.m. I stopped and had Tim Hortons for breakfast and enjoyed a nice ocean view nearby where I did get to see a bunch of starfish and little fishies. It was so nice. My first stop was at York Redoubt National Historic Site, which is approximately a 15-minute drive from downtown Halifax. It's free to do and very dog-friendly. It's an old military fort that was built in the 1800s, and it was such a beautiful morning walk.
So there's literally cannons just everywhere. And look at this old building. It's a caponnière, which apparently is a protected position which projects from a fortified wall. It allows defenders to shoot at attackers trying to climb the wall without exposing themselves. The amount of dogs here is amazing. I've said hi to a couple. And the owners, of course, are so friendly. Very dog friendly, very off leash friendly place. Just an FYI if you ever want to come here with your dog.
Stop number 2 was Peggy's Cove, which is a must-see when in Nova Scotia. This is approximately a 45-minute drive from downtown Halifax. I explored the whole town and all of the adorable shops and admired the ocean, of course. I then took out my drone and tried to get some nice video footage of the area, which it was pretty windy and there was other people using their drone there, but I did the best I could, so I hope you enjoy the footage I did get. Stop number 3, I actually didn't originally plan on stopping here, but I didn't realize how close it was to Peggy's Cove. You can actually see the lighthouse from where this memorial is. So it's the Swiss Air 111 Memorial, and it is a very beautiful walking path, and there is a nice memorial written on the plaques that are there, so I do recommend stopping here if you have the time. Stop number 4 is Lunenburg, which is such a beautiful, historic, and colorful town. I was so excited to see it. It's approximately a 1-hour drive from Halifax, or in my case, it was an hour and 15 minutes from Peggy's Cove since I did the detour to get to Peggy's Cove. There's lots of small towns and gas stations you can stop at along the way. I got to Lunenburg around lunchtime, so I think I actually stopped at one of the gas stations and ate there. But there is tons of local seafood restaurants with gorgeous ocean views. So I personally don't eat seafood, which is unfortunate, but if you do, definitely try and get into one of those restaurants there because they have fresh seafood every day. I used the drone again here and tried to get some good shots of the town and all of its beautiful colors, but I promise you none of these videos or pictures do it any justice. It was, again, unfortunately windy and I had to stop flying sooner than I planned. I also want to mention that the parking here, at least in the summertime when I was there, was pretty difficult to find. I did eventually find parking near the beautiful black and white church, and the entire main area of the town is basically all hills and pretty difficult to casually walk around. So if you're someone with mobility issues, I would definitely be very careful. Stop number 5 was Queensland Beach Provincial Park, which is approximately 40 minutes from Lunenburg. Since it was the end of summer and very hot out, I think it was 32 degrees that day, I wanted to go hang out by the ocean for a while. It was really nice, but at the end of August when I went there, there's a lot of flying ants. I guess they hatch at that time. There was mostly dead ones though. They didn't bother me too much. I didn't really care. Aside from that, the beach was really nice to walk along. They do have porta potties and not any solid washrooms that I saw, so just keep that in mind. And if you get hungry, there is a cute local restaurant / food truck right across the street, which I did want to eat at, but unfortunately found out it's cash only, so I wasn't able to eat there. I arrived back into Halifax around 3 p.m. and stopped at the famous Fairview Lawn Cemetery, where 150 of the Titanic passengers are buried, and sadly, a lot of them are unidentified to this day. So this was my stop number 6. It is very well marked, as you will see in the pictures, and you can go and see the specific area and read about the Titanic. They do have educational plaques set up around, and it was just really nice and peaceful to go through.
A whole bunch of these ones are just unknown people.
Stop number 7, I went to the Halifax Waterfront Boardwalk. The boardwalk is lined with restaurants, bars, cafes, little shops. I did have a specific restaurant that's locally owned I wanted to go to, but there was a line out the door and down the boardwalk. I was just way too hungry to wait in, so I did just end up eating some nachos from a food truck. Number 8, if you want to count this, it's the Halifax Bridge to Dartmouth. I made the mistake of trying to chase the sunset, to get drone shots, and tried to cross the toll bridge. I thought it would be one where they take a picture of your license plate and send you a bill in the mail. Unfortunately, it ended up being a cash-only bridge, and I didn't have a single cent to pay for it. They had to awkwardly block a lane for me to turn around, and I never got to Dartmouth. I then ended up driving along the coastal highway looking for a good spot for me to park and fly the drone. I think I ended up parking at some apartment building. I did get some decent footage of the harborfront and partial sunset, so it did work out for me. Finally, I headed back to my hotel. It was around 8 p.m. I had a shower, packed my things. It was an early night in bed for me since I had an early flight in the morning. Not to mention, it's about an hour to the airport from downtown Halifax. Plus, I had to return my beloved rental car. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you do this itinerary or if you've done something similar.